Wait, they were like, what?
And I was like, boss, please. Hey bosses, welcome back to another episode of A Boss Please. I'm Jillian here with Meghan.
Hey guys.
How you doing, girlfriend?
I'm good. I'm feeling really good.
How were you a boss this week?
I was a boss because I felt really good. So I got contacted by FYE, you know that company?
Yes.
And I guess they are producing a crossover brand with SpongeBob and Ocean Pacific. And they just found my Nickelodeon stuff and they were like, I'm going to send you all the free things. So I was like, okay. So I felt very boss because I feel like I've been kind of lacking on the Instagram lately, not really posting a lot of branded stuff. I'm not really taking the time to do photo shoots because I'm just like, ugh, I kind of get over it a little bit. So I'm like, but it kind of reignited and it sparked it. And now the new boy is like getting really good at taking my pics for the gram. And
Oh my
it's
God,
like,
Instagram boyfriend.
I'm training him really well. And he's like really excited to do it. He like had a vision for me. Like yesterday we were like on the beach. He's like, I just maybe like look down a little bit here and like walk through the sand. I just started pissing my pants laughing.
I'm obsessed.
I was like, you're hysterical. He's a firefighter. Like, this is not his world at all. And the fact that he's diving in for me, I really appreciate.
Like being super supportive.
So yes, it was boss like teaching him how to be my photographer. So, you know, how are you, boss?
I was a boss because I found my wedding dress.
Girl.
I know. So Meghan is actually one of my bridesmaids.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
I'm so excited.
And we're going to see the dress in a couple weeks. I'm going to try it on for some of my California girls that are out here.
I cannot wait.
It was such a weird experience. A lot of my friends that have been married, they told me that I will just know. I was never that girl growing up that had the box with, this is the idea of the wedding that I want, and this is the dress that I want. And, you know, I didn't have a Pinterest board and everything. So going into it, I was really kind of nervous because I had zero expectations. And I put on a couple dresses and I was just like, And then I put on this dress and the girl that was helping me, her name was Molly. She's so sweet. She was like, oh my God. I was like, I just feel so bridal. Oh my God. It like transformed me. And what I will say, because you guys won't be able to, you know, see my dress until I post photos of when I actually get married. This dress makes me look so tall. I'm only 5'3". It makes me look I'm 5'7". Like, it's crazy.
I cannot wait.
It's crazy. I'm obsessed.
I'm counting down the days. And it's crazy because the first day you went dress shopping, you sent me a photo. And you were like, this is a contender, which I figured but it was stunning on you.
It
so
was
I'm
very
like,
pretty.
just seeing that photo of you like brought tears to my eyes. So I can't even imagine being there and seeing you so happy in the final decision. What number was it about that you tried on?
I think it was probably like the 8th or 9 dress.
Okay. I feel like that's a good amount to try on and like no.
Okay, so we actually have a really exciting guest. I know we say that about everybody, but this chick is actually extremely cool. She does lymphatic massage, which is, you know, alternative health care. So it got me thinking, you know, we've talked about what we do on the podcast to sort of be our best self, you know, stay healthy, tip-top shape. But what are some of the alternative things that we do to like be our best?
Yeah. I know you have some. For me, and I think I've talked about it before, when I'm starting to feel sick, I definitely take wellness formula. You get it at Whole Foods. You can order it on Amazon. I don't know what the hell is in it, but it's magic and it stops whatever you're feeling in its tracks. I think you can take up to 6 a day, but that's like a lot. I usually take max 3 and I'm fine. It stops anything, knock on wood, in its tracks. But I'm also, and I wish I was better at this. I would love for my life to get to a point where I can be more organized. And I know that's up to me, but I would really love to start every morning I've never been a big believer in yoga, but I think I really believe in the stillness of the mind. And I know it's not like an exercise, but I think it's really good for your mind. So I've been really trying to meditate more or just finding a couple minutes here and there each day. But I would love to have a daily practice. And I need to work that into my craziness. And actually the other morning this is what I do every morning. I wake up. The first thing I do is I grab my phone. And as I'm like waking up, I'm like looking through my phone, I guess to get news, like kind of like looking on my news feed. Yeah. But then I stopped the other day. I'm like, Meg, you literally just opened your eyes and you grabbed your phone. Put it down for a second. keep your eyes open, look at the ceiling and express some gratitude for God's sakes.
Yeah, life's not that bad.
So because I'm reading a book right now, and the chapter that I had finished reading that night was it's all about gratitude is the culprit to everything. Just being grateful, really feeling it from your heart about everything in life that you're grateful for. So I was like, let's start off that morning. So I really did it. And I forget what happened that day, but I think that some things happened. Like I think I got an audition or whatever. It's just like little things. But I'm like, okay. So anyway, so I need to do that more, but I'm starting the process, but I need to get it. But anyways, what about you?
Well, I'm a big proponent in therapy. So I use that therapy to stay well. And really, mentally, it keeps me in check, but also physically, it keeps me in check because now I have tools in my toolbox to combat anxiety that I'm feeling. It helps me talk myself out of situations where I get too into my head. Besides therapy, I love CBD. We've had Oriana Leo on the podcast, and she's a partner in Nani's Nectar. That has really helped me with any sort of physical pain that I'm feeling. I put this, it's called salve. It's like a balm that you put on your joints, and that's really helped. And then I also just really love hot showers. I know it's going to sound weird, but anytime I'm feeling gross, I take a hot shower, and 8 times out of 10, it knocks whatever I'm feeling out.
I love that. I'm an advocate for
sweating,
baths. But yes.
If I ever get rich and famous, well, when I get rich and famous.
Yes, of course.
I want like a steam room or a sauna in my house because I love them.
Or like a double-headed shower too, because you sometimes you have to step out of the other way, like you're outside the water, you're like washing your legs or something, but like to have like both streams just coming at you in both directions, just being like in the middle of a waterfall, like that'd be so amazing.
So as I said in the beginning of this, Tatiana Vianna is going to be on next. She does lymphatic drainage massage, which is an awesome way to take care of your health and wellness, and we will be with her in a minute.
Yes.
All right, bosses, welcome back. We have Tatiana Vianna in studio now. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tatiana was born and raised in Brazil, but has resided in Los Angeles for 27 years. She has always stayed connected with the culture and the latest beauty trends of Brazil, and in early 2017, she transitioned out of corporate America after almost 20 plus years to pursue a passion. She's decided to enter the health and wellness industry to bring this refreshing treatment to Los Angeles. Lymphatic drainage massage. After completing the required educational and licensing requirements, she spent time studying the lymphatic system in Brazil and developed an innovative treatment to bring here. She is incredibly proud to offer the service that not only detoxes the body but delivers an aesthetic result as well. And let me tell you, it is some amazing stuff. So welcome, Tatiana.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So before we dive in, I wanted to just start off with the very basic question because I don't think many people know this. What is lymphatic drainage?
So our bodies are full of lymph nodes throughout, and your lymph fluid doesn't flush on its own. It basically relies on breath and movement to flush it through the body. So it becomes stagnant in everybody. And so with toxins, the foods we eat, sodium, these toxins sit in between the cells. So because it needs breath and movement, once you give it movement through this process, it just finds its way out. And then you feel fully detoxed and you're slim after, which is a plus. So because it's toxins and also water retention that comes out through it.
It's crazy. I've seen the before and after photos. Jill got it. Is it called a treatment or the massage? She got
I call
done.
it a treatment just to be bougie about it, but
okay.
Yes, yeah, it's a treatment.
It's a treatment.
She gave me like the Cadillac treatment, so I got. And I wanted to go too before we brought her in because I wanted to make sure that, you guys got to understand what it's like from my side on the table as opposed to doing the massage.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, the aesthetic benefits are amazing, but I felt so good the week after. Like you feel light almost. Yeah. I felt so good.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. I'm convinced. After question 1, I'm done. No, but what's interesting is you left a cushy like corporate America job to join the wellness community. So, and you're also you're transitioning from it now, correct?
Pretty much, yeah.
So how are you balancing that? And tell me like your feelings. Is that scary?
I don't know. It's a mess. So I was doing insurance for 20 years. I just wasn't happy with it. I just felt zero joy, zero purpose in life, right? So It was a process and very stressful. So basically, I work days, and I was doing this on the weekends originally, and after work. So it was tough. It was like working like 80 hours a week, pretty much on both jobs. So it hasn't been easy, but it's been worth it so far.
Good.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits of the treatment that you do and explain how often you might go for health benefits or for aesthetic benefits.
Okay, so the benefits are to obviously flush the fluid that's just stuck there. That's already a plus. It's your lymph nodes it's what's always fighting for your health, basically. Sure. So I personally myself, I've been doing it for a year and a half on me, and I haven't had not one cold, not a flu, not a sore throat, nothing. It's constantly clean. I feel like your lymph nodes just fight better for you.
Totally.
So for that sole purpose alone, I'm a big advocate. So aside from that, if you're doing it for beauty, it helps your skin get tighter because it's not full of fluid. Cellulite, it's great for it. Whatever, anytime you're working circulation, you're gonna get a great result from that. So cellulite, fluid just stuck in the cells. And then also for anyone with health issues like hormones or thyroid, Hashimoto's, it's a big portion of the folks I see. And so anytime you have anything happening where it's just slowing you down, your lymph nodes don't even flush that well for you, even with a whole bunch of movement. So for them, it's like essential to do it even more often. So usually for health, if it's an issue with the thyroid or whatever, I say once every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, just to flush it so you feel good for your health. Do it once a month. And then I have, the Hollywood and the ones that can't afford it that want to be thin all the time. And so they come once a week, twice a week, or prior to events. Wow. Mm-hmm. So I have kind of all kinds of audiences that come for their own different reasons.
You actually told me a really interesting story when I was getting the treatment done, and it's why you got into this. And can you talk to me about your friend a little bit and what she went through?
Yeah, so my best friend had cancer 6 years ago, and she had breast cancer. And back then, there were still some chat rooms where you can chat with other cancer survivors or whatnot. And she had her first round of chemo. She already had surgery, so it wasn't in her lymph nodes anymore. Those were already taken out. And she had chemo. And typically, when you have chemo, you begin to get sick on the third day. So she was nauseous, body aches, just not. I mean, she couldn't move. She was in so much pain. So she was chatting with somebody on just getting pointers on just how to handle chemo better, like what to do, whatever. And this girl mentioned having this done prior to your chemo and then after. Why that order? So prior to kind of flush your lymph nodes so you can take the chemo on better. And after the third day of chemo, your body already took what it needs from it. The rest is just poison. So do it after to flush it out through your lymph nodes. Yeah. So she did that going forward from her second chemo up until the 5th or 6th. And she was like fine. Like we were riding bikes like 30, 40 miles because she wanted to be outdoors. Wow. So typically she would have chemo every 28 days on a Wednesday. And so by Friday, she was getting ill. And after she began having this done, and it wasn't done like in the same fashion that I do it today, but she was fine. And so that sparked my original interest. I'm like, that's really odd. That's amazing. Like what is this? And it kind of stayed with me, but I didn't do much with it other than just read about it. So, and also I had like no courage to even, because I was comfortable, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, so then I began to read about it later on and saw that back home in Brazil, it was so used for beauty. And I'm like, wow, like it'd be awesome to do it for both. I've always been kind of cancer love for, because my whole family passed from it. So I've always wanted to kind of tap into that. And it was just something I could do with both. And but she sparked my original interest.
And this is for people that their lymph nodes are not infected.
Right. Yeah. So she had already had the surgery. She had some nodes taken out, because usually if it's in your nodes, you can spread it. So I always, So anytime I work with anyone cancer, I need to sign off from the doctors, making sure that they're, fine to go. She was already cleared for one. And so in that case, for her, it was fine.
And amazing. This is so crazy. So she also told me this when I was getting the treatment done. They're like, as common as like nail salons.
Oh yeah.
In Brazil.
In Brazil, yeah, like every other person there, it's like finding like a nail lady. And there too, for you to get into it there, you don't have to go to massage school and be licensed in that state like we do here. So
well, I'm glad you brought that up because I want to know the process.
Yeah.
So what kind of training did you have to go through in the U.S. and then comparatively to what people do in Brazil?
Yeah. So here you have to be licensed in California. So I went to massage school for a year, which I didn't want to because I thought before when I was just thinking about it, I thought, well, let me just go to Brazil, learn it, and just do it. You can. So I spent a year in schooling here.
Okay.
Got in a whole lot of debt, which is fine. But then I thought maybe they'll teach it here, which they did. And I felt that it fell short. Like it wasn't, I tried what they taught and I saw no results. I'm like, this just seems odd. I'm like, let me go to the source and see. Mm-hmm. And so there you can just pop into any course. They have several. There's several people that do it there. And they all teach it and pretty much the same, but then you kind of take what you learn and you kind of create your own magic from that. And so I went there and spent some time just learning it there. And I had to mentally erase everything I learned here because it was completely done differently there. I mean, scientifically, how they taught it just made sense too. But there, anyone, like you can just, anyone can go and take it without any licensing in Brazil to do it. It's different requirements.
And for our listeners, like not to like embarrass you or anything, for our listeners listening that you can't see Tatiana, she is stunning and beautiful and her skin, she's glowing. So like everything that she's saying clearly works because she's doing something right. Okay. So I just wanted to let everyone know that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What an ego boost. I'm like, I
know,
I'm every weekend.
She walks in, I'm like, oh damn, this girl's pretty. Like, okay, she's got it going on. Okay.
I'm gonna pop in here every Saturday.
Goodness.
We got you, girl.
So you you did the treatment on me and it takes a lot out of my system and my body, but it got me thinking what kind of toll it takes on your body to perform something like that. So when I was on the table, I asked you how many of these do you do in a day? And it's way less than people would think. So what kind of toll does it take on you to make sure that you're, doing everything in the correct way, but not tiring yourself out?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's different, but I personally, I'm going to be 40 this year, and I feel it in my bones and in my joints. So my body can endure doing 4 or 5 a day. I have a tennis elbow in both elbows right now, which is fine. I can deal with it. It's worth it. But not just for my body endurance. It's something that's very fancy. It's pricey. So I also never want to hurry anybody off the table. And I'm also very OCD, which is, like I said, it's great for my clients, but terrible for me. So I like to be happy with what I see. And because I want to show you a good photo of it before and your after. So I always run over the hour. It's an hour treatment or an hour and a half, depending. So I always run over. And I don't ever want to rush anybody off the table. So that also limits the amount of people that I'm able to do it per day because I want to give everyone the same experience. Mm-hmm. And after 5, I'm tired and I won't give you the same experience. And it's not worth it for me. It's not worth it for the person paying for something so pricey. And so I 4 or 5 pushing my body capacity.
Well, if you think about it, 5 hours, and if you go over, I mean, that's easily
it's
8 or 9 hour day.
Yeah, it's a long day.
That's a normal, like that's an average work day for somebody. Not to mention, you're not doing this just full time now. You're still transitioning out of your.
I'm basically full time now.
Oh, full time now. Okay, okay. But I mean, when you were still working with it, that must have been crazy.
I was doing less. Yeah. At that point, I was doing like 2 or 3, and then I would go home and plug into my computer and do, and then I'll go back.
Right.
It was just
Chaos.
Crazy person.
Chaos.
No. But 4 or 5, like pushing my.
Yeah. So
my
would
stamina.
You say, I mean, obviously, the average person is more than welcome to go in, but this is really catching on with celebrities.
It's so catching on.
So is this like, do you see everyone doing it? Like
everyone's
celebs?
doing it.
Yeah.
They don't talk about it, but everyoud's doing it.
They should talk about it.
I know. I'm like, guys, please talk about it. Give me exposure.
Yes.
But they're not. Yeah, some talk about it and some don't. If only they all would talk about it. But it's so up and coming. It's like the newest, best.
I think it'll get there. And also too, when you're talking about it, it's really, yes, of course, you get the benefits of slimming down, but it's really for your health.
Yes. I mean, that is my biggest advocate for it. Yeah. I mean, I love doing it for events, or today I had a bride for tomorrow, and it's amazing to make somebody feel so good for their special day or a night out, whatever. But the benefit that you're giving to your body from the inside out, I think is, but it's LA, but still, I think it's important. But
I agree. Especially with your story and your friend, and yeah, that's amazing. It's very cool.
And listeners, if you're still a little bit confused about what Tatiana does, she really can't talk about her secrets. It's kind of all in the order of the massage, and that's kind of how you're draining. So I think it's important to know that you do have to be really careful who you go to for these type of massages. Don't you think?
Yeah. Like I've had some people. I've had one client actually. She went. She's been a client of mine for a while, so she knows how it's done. And she went elsewhere. And she came back like maybe 2 weeks later, and she was really swollen, like oddly, like more than usual. And I can kind of feel when your nodes are swollen. I'm like, what's going on here? And just if it's not done in the proper order, you can clog up lymph nodes in certain areas. This girl was pretty clogged up. They were like swollen. They were thicker than usual. And so the order and how it's done, I highly recommend finding someone who's licensed, who has the knowledge. It took me like a while to reflush her and put her back where I left her before she went somewhere else. And so it's crucial.
It's so funny. Like not that I never believed she knew what she was doing, but as soon as she touched like my groin area, she's like, "Are you on your period?" I was like, "I am." She's like, "Yeah, I know."
That's
I know.
You're like, it's like a psychic thing.
Yeah,
she
felt it.
Yeah,
she felt it.
That's amazing.
And it's wild.
Really quick side note, not on the questions, but in the beginning you were saying it's all about breath and movement. So obviously you give a different experience than one would with doing yoga or Tai Chi, but do those movements of yoga and Tai Chi help?
It helps.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Because I know that's all about breath and movement.
Yes.
So it's like a smaller version of what you do.
It helps.
It helps
sure.
like in between the treatments.
For sure.
Okay.
So like it helps keep the fluid flowing.
Yeah.
And what you're doing with these treatments is that just imagine a room that's flooded with one drain and you're mopping it.
Oh wow, that's a good analogy.
So that's the best way that I can describe it. So we basically treat every body part specifically like it's flooded and there's one drain there and I have to mop it there. So it's a little more extensive than just your regular everyday movement.
Yeah, interesting.
Let's talk about starting a business. So this was new for you. What have you learned since starting Brazilian Beauty Bar LA?
That it's not easy. It is not easy. I had no experience in starting a business. It just kind of all came to me mostly with a vision, really. Like I was like one day I just had it and I saw it and it was like a vision of me in the future. And I just saw like what I had to do to get there. It was really weird how it all happened. I'm also very spiritual, which kind of it helps. And then I just did it, and I don't know how I'm doing, to be honest with you. Like there are days that I'm like, I don't know if I'm doing this right, and is this the right way to speak? I don't know, but it's working, and I'm just following my my gut with it. It's been really stressful. I lose sleep. I get my period 4 times a month.
Oh, girl.
It's just like, God help a sister. But it's been I've learned that patience is key, and also believing in like oneself, which was always my biggest like struggle, and I'm being forced to now. I have to, and so it's been really good for me.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of competition in the space, seeing as it is so new to the States?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're popping up for sure because it is becoming more and more popular, and there are some popular Hollywood people that do speak about it, and so people seek it and they find who's doing it, who's not doing it, and typically it's mostly Brazilian people just popping up, also doing it as well. And it's.
But like you were saying, it's important to do your research because like the girl that has been a long time client went somewhere, and it's like you really need to do your research before you go that way.
Make sure, it's important because not everyone out there doing it has gone to schooling, and maybe they just went to Brazil and just learned it there, and they're doing it here. And because if you're tapping into the medical space or whatever and the risks and somebody with cancer, like you want to know what you're doing. Sure. To me, that's the most ethical thing for me, is to do it right.
Absolutely.
How do you set yourself apart from the competition?
Well, I think it's the fact that doing it right. Like I went through the schooling, like I'm doing it. I did everything right, and for me, it's more about the experience that I can give you. Hence, the not rushing people off of my table. Not not everyone has that approach.
Right.
They're like, oh, let's make money. Let's toss 8-10 people in here. And that's, to me, the money comes. I'm not too worried about that. This was something I'm very passionate about. So I want everyone that comes in just have a good experience. Like I want you to leave and speak positively of the experience, of me, everything. So if that takes me an hour and a half with you, that's what it takes. I don't care if I could have somebody in, and make more. It's about your experience when you come to see me.
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
I will say it definitely was a wonderful experience. And for those out there who missed the Instagram story that I did, I'm also going to post the before and after photos on our Instagram feed with the episode, so you guys can actually see the difference aesthetically that happened. One thing that we didn't talk about, which I just do want to mention, is some aftercare stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you recommend green tea, right?
Yeah, I personally have tried it on me because I like trying it on me first before I pass it on to you. So I am like my own guinea pig for most things. So I tried it with just water. Yeah, you pee a lot of toxins as well with water, whatever. I found that if you, with the green tea for 3 days after, you pee out these toxins faster. And so my clients tend to hold the results longer that way. So that's just kind of my little twist to it. And obviously don't go eat a whole bunch of sodium and a burger. Just resume your healthy lifestyle if possible and keep it that way for 3 days and just let your body just do what it will do, because it does keep flushing on its own for 3 days after. The lymph fluid keeps moving on its own.
Okay.
And so the 3 days after, it's pretty crucial.
Yeah, and I definitely peed a lot. Another thing that you might do is have a bowel movement. I did not.
I don't
Although
either.
maybe when I get my second one done, fingers crossed, we'll see if something happens down there. And then some of your clients experience a little bit of queasiness, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of them, most of them don't. I've had a handful that do. Like usually, like a postpartum client will, because there's a lot of fluid there that just went on. This, just giving a baby, whatever. So that happens. Anyone maybe that's been sick or whatever, coming off a cold or a flu, they'll feel like there's more toxins going on that we're fixing up. But it's rare. But it does happen. If it happens, down some green tea, that kind of tones it down. No excuses from you.
No
I want to
excuses.
see you.
No, I will be there. I will be there.
I'll have the green tea ready.
Perfect.
For you. I'll have a
No, I
bucket.
love it. No,
A
I'll be
bucket.
able to handle it. It's fine.
So just to wrap things up, what is the most rewarding part of what you do?
I just like it that people like. I've had clients cry when they put their pants
that
on
makes sense.
and they
Yeah.
button better, or somebody with their nose, surgical, whatever, and they have swelling and they can see what their surgeries are going to look like and they cry afterwards. I just like making people feel good and just knowing that they're just feeling healthier, or their pants fit or their dress fit for the event and they just feel good. It's just like, it's more rewarding to me that you guys feel good. Like I love that.
That's amazing. Well, it was a pleasure having
Thank you.
you come in. And you're on Instagram. Where can people
am.
come find you and set up appointments?
Yes, they can DM, text, or my website will have a calendar. Hopefully by the time this airs, as well, they can schedule on there. So in my Instagram, I'm sure you'll post it. It's
Yes,
Brazilian
of
Beauty
course.
Bar LA, and they can book it and they can come check it out.
Yeah, and
Perfect.
she's up in Woodland Hills, and let me tell you, she has 2 rooms now. They're both super cute, and everything about the experience was so wonderful, and I truly cannot wait to come back and see you. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And listeners, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Boss Please Pod. And don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe on iTunes. Navigate the path to your best self with us, because bossing together is always better.